See, you've studied extensively about the Chinese model,
sure.
you know.
Sure.
I mean, some people even accuse you of being little soft on China.
I am soft on China.
I mean, I'm also a xenophile, let me admit.
No, I'm not a xenophile.
I mean in the sense...
I think our priority is to be friends with them.
So you think, like, you know, since, to be very... if you really look at the Chinese leverage the manufacturing model to, you know, provide millions of jobs.
Not correct.
Not exactly correct? Okay.
Now
that India's kind of missed the manufacturing bus.
That part I agree.
So, you know, is there like any lessons that we can learn from the Chinese economic miracle? Obviously, the political system, the realities are very different. You know, they don't have elections to face.
Chinese is not a manufacturing miracle.
So, what do you think? Like 2-3 lessons that we can learn from them? In terms
there are no lessons to learn from them. In fact, there are lessons to unlearn from them. But I'll tell you what the Chinese great success is due to. The Chinese model. They import semi-processed goods from Korea, Taiwan, Japan, not Hong Kong, Singapore, Philippines, like that. And then they add value to it. Like, for example, Lenovo. Lenovo comes in the circuit form from Taiwan.
Absolutely.
Then they put a keyboard on it, the glass case. No, they add value. It's not a value. It comes in, the basic circuits come from Taiwan. And then they put a stamp made in China. Okay. And what is the advantage for Taiwan to do it? Because if Taiwan itself did it, the cost will become much higher. So they won't be able to sell it. So they sell it, give it to China. China has cheap labor, skilled labor, and then it imports, exports to America and Europe. So therefore what happens is that the Chinese have a deficit trade with East Asia because they are only importing from East Asia. But they have a huge surplus trade with Europe and America. And so the sum total, they get a surplus, and that is their model. There is no indigenous manufacturing capability of China as of yet. But now the Chinese have realized that because the wages of their labor is going up, therefore they may not get an advantage. Some other countries might come in the picture. And therefore now they are trying to, what they call as, rebalance their economy. India's lessons to learn, if you want a lesson to learn, it is this, that the Chinese can do it, we can do it better because we have a lower skilled labor cost. So, but what is the problem? All these countries say, we like to come to India, you've got a court, you've got this thing, you've got patent laws, but you have a lousy infrastructure. And a corrupt system. Permission in Delhi, permission in the state, permission in the municipality. It's still, Delhi may be easy, but on the road it's terrible. The roads are all, potholes, so on. It takes 1 week to turn around a ship in India, whereas in Singapore it takes a few hours. Okay, so these are the places now. The day we do that, we have an efficient transportation system, or highways, national highway system. These people will all come to us, and we will get the boom. And we already have a manufacturing base, but we have starved them with these high interest rates. You see, and we have literally driven out those labor-intensive small and medium industries, thanks to that crackpot called Raghuram Rajan, who told us all that if you raise interest rates, the inflation will be controlled. Of course, that's one way of doing it, but what's the consequence? A doctor can bring down a temperature by killing the patient. It's the fastest way to bring down a temperature. But then that's it, you see. So, because he's not an economist, Raghuram Rajan, just a management type, they know only these, what is called as microeconomics. But macroeconomics is a general equilibrium system. What you do here has an effect there. You see, so therefore, our mistake was that. Our first mistake was to have the Soviet model. Absolutely. And the second mistake is to keep these interest rates so high that manufacturing decided to go for capital and these labor laws, these socialist labor laws. So they went in for capital intensive technology.